So think about if there was somebody watching the planet, right? You know, like how you watch a movie and shit, right? Where you get like this bird's eye view, right? Now, if somebody was watching this planet and able to see the intricacies of, you know, geographical places or states or countries and how people were dealing with their governments or how people were running governments, period, and how the citizenry, functions and shit, right? Okay, what would you, just you as a normal person, what would you think if you were able to see this kind of shit, right? If you were able to see how people manipulate others and manipulate situations and even manipulate resources, natural resources or human resources or, technology resources, any of those kind of things, and they use that for, their selfish doings or, things that can help them, but do not prioritize, the survival of the species or, anybody outside of, the small circle of individuals that help perpetuate the situation that this person is trying to get to, right? What would you see? You see murder, you see deception, you see outright lies and conspiracies that, people use to cover up certain situations. You know, a lot of what we find is just say like the American dream or just America as it stands, right? There's a certain way that we think about America, right? Land of the free, home of the brave, this, that, and the third thing, Thanksgiving, Christopher Columbus, all of that, right? But factually, we know that, 9 out of 10 of those things are false, right? It's not the land of the free, except for, to be ultimately free, you had to be a white man who owned land, right? And had a certain amount of money. Like even women weren't completely free because you didn't have the right to vote. They could whoop your ass, they could put you in basic servitude, whether, in home or sexual or whatever it was. But that's not but the real principles were not as what they were told, right? Or as what they were sold, right? And so when you talk about the land of the brave, right? For the most part, the Europeans came here to get away from what was going on with them, which was basically indentured servitude because they could tax the hell out of you. You had to do what the king said or what the royal family said. And, you had your place, by birth, right? You were either a peasant, or something higher than that, but you were normally stuck in that place, right? So those people leave, those people come to America and then put others in indentured servitude and wipe out other populations in order to conquer, the country, right? And in order to make it what it is, right? Now, people can say, it was a means to an end, but we're not sold that, right? We're sold the good about the situation, right? You know? So if somebody were looking at this from above, in a macro or micro perspective, what would make them think that the human race is not full of demons or, completely evil and vile beings and that kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying? Of course. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's all componentry, right? So you can have, a certain select, you know, person that is, super well as good as they possibly can be. You see what I'm saying? But even that person has flaws, right? And then somebody else who may not be as, pristine in conduct as that person has their flaws as well, but they also have their good parts to them too. You see what I'm saying? So if you were talking about, you know alien, yeah, you mean like not from this planet? Yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how small is Earth just to this galaxy? You know, it's like a pebble of sand or something. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as all of the stars and all of the planets. So we can't sit here and not think, just predictively that there isn't another planet that can sustain life, or sustain life in a different way than we sustain life, right? Human life. Right. It could be like, on a planet that has certain, metals or something that could conduct life. You know what I'm saying? Or like beings that absorb air, like, or absorb nutrients. I mean, because there's animals on this planet that do those type of things, right? There's organisms that, shit, they live forever, or for recorded history they've been alive. So who are we to say what's alien and what's not? Because the human race is alien to a lot of things that are on the planet right now, but because of our mental capacity and our ability to innovate and procreate on a mass scale, and then also be able to basically manufacture communities on a mass level, we're able to impeach or impede on territories of other things and then wipe those things out. You see what I'm saying? So is that not like an alien invasion would be towards us? You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's all relative. You know what I mean? Like all of the killing and shit that we got going on right now, like that's not new shit. We just got Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just everything is on camera now. You don't think niggas was getting knocked off in the Wild Wild West all the fucking time? People was killing people and covering it up. You know what I'm saying? You could just hide somebody's body or throw it in the woods, or, whatever it was. It's just now that there is a spotlight on this stuff, those questions, start to circulate. Like, how bad is this? Like, what are we? What have we? I mean, come on. Every war that we've had going back, and that's just this country by itself. Like, how many millions of people was dying? How many millions of people starved to death in the country? How many millions of women were raped, or whatever, just crazy stuff. Like, most of TV is based on those things, because those things gin up emotion in us, right? you know like Sopranos and stuff like that. I mean, that's just all real life murderous situations, right? But when you think about it, it's basically just, arguments between men that wind up not going a certain type of way. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of that stuff, like I was saying earlier, dudes having problems with women, right? And then they're beefing over it, and it turns into this big thing. And then next thing you know, generations later, this family's fighting with this family, right? And then y'all don't even know what y'all were beefing about, but y'all know that I don't like this person and I don't like this person. And most of the time it's stupid shit. You see what I'm saying? So I believe personally that we're just natural beings that take advantage of the environment, but also take advantage of each other, because the human race is more parasitic than anything else. Now, a lot of people would get, feel a certain type of way about that shit, but you got to think about how we expand, right? The animals start going extinct, right? We consume so much of the natural resources in certain areas, and then the climate changes, and then those places are, uninhabitable. You see what I'm saying? Or like how the environment's changing, and now they're starting to think about, trading stocks on water, because it's going to become a scarce entity. You know what I mean? But everybody needs to drink water, right? But only the people with, industrial prowess and the ability to cultivate on such a mass level would be able to have that water. You see what I'm saying? And then distribute that to the masses, and everybody has to make money off of that. You see what I'm saying? But not everybody's going to make money off of that, because you're only going to have a few people controlling it, just like a few people control how much oil goes to the gas stations, right? How much gas gets there, or like how they're doing now, with all this social distancing where you got drones going to different places and stuff, but now they're occupying airspace that you can't mess with anymore, and that kind of stuff, and 5G and all of that kind of stuff that we're dependent on now, right? So even if stuff did go to World War Z, most of us aren't prepared to deal with that because you're not self-sufficient in any form or fashion anymore. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to fight nobody no more. You're gonna shoot, right? It's the quickest, easiest way to solve an issue, right? So you're not using your cognitive prowess to solve an issue, right? You're picking up a gun because you don't have the mental capacity, or that your counterpart doesn't have the mental capacity to solve a problem peacefully, right? And that goes back to what I was saying about somebody looking at this shit from up top. They would see the fact that most of the stuff that becomes heavy conflict, that becomes very consequential in the way that the world works and the way that the citizens of the world operate in their little pockets, or in a macro fashion, the world at large, is that a lot of stuff is just because of jealousy, right? Hot tempers, and lacking the ability, or if not lacking the ability, lacking the patience to solve an issue peacefully and try to do something for the larger community than just something for yourself. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we get down. So if somebody was looking at us, they'd be like, damn, those some aliens, right? You know, that's very demonic, right? Like that's nuts what's going on here, right? But because we're here, you see what I'm saying? Because we are participating in this environment in real time, we don't look at it like that. You see what I mean? We're here doing this today and are going to continue to do it, so it becomes normal, right? There's a sense of normalcy to what we do, how we conduct ourselves, and how we interact with each other and other species. And it's crazy. So I just feel like, yeah, it might be something out there, but shit, it's looking at us just as crazy as we looking at it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because then there's people like you and this puppy who are so nice, and oh my god, it's cute, but there's literally 700,000 of you out of the billions of people that are, you know what I'm saying? And even you and this guy with the fur are flawed as well. I've heard you with a diabolical laugh before. The shit's nuts. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Right.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly. No one. Life is imperfection. Lives are imperfection. And the only thing perfect is the fact that we get to continue the cycle and try to get better, right? Is that we have time. That's the only thing. We have time. But it's like they say, history repeats itself over and over again, right? So we haven't used our experiences to teach us that our betterment and our furtherment it's not conducive to us continuing to behave the same way that we have over the ages, but we continue to behave the same way over the ages, just with better technology. You feel me? And because you have that better technology, now you can just drone 500,000 people to death, right? You don't have to walk up in somebody's face and shoot them, right? You can just drone them or bomb them or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So as that cycle continues and as that time lapses, we just get more and more devious because we figure out more ways to innovate that deviousness. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to do shit anymore to kill people. You used to have to walk up on somebody and kill them, right? Now you don't have to do that. And even the people that do, it's become so regular, you know what I'm saying, with IG Live and all of that, that it's nothing, right? If a shootout happens and the dude survives, he goes and does an interview on somebody's podcast and gets 6 million views. That's good for business. You see what I'm saying? It's good for business for all of this wild stuff to go on, because quiet as it's kept, the human condition is the fact that we get hype off of the bullshit. We get hype off of the retarded shit. We are tempted and we respond and we want to view the bullshit at all times. Nate Robinson just wound up on the NBA logo looking dumb as hell because we love the bullshit. Right or wrong? We love the bullshit. And then that only lasted a couple of days, right? You see what I'm saying? Then we on to the next thing, right? The next bullshit, right? King Von, them niggas just got up out of here, right? Somebody else died, Mo3 died. You feel me? Boosie get caught in the leg, right? And then 2 weeks later, it's on to the next shit. Until one of them niggas decides that they want to kill one of the niggas that shot them before. And then we right back at the cycle, right? And everybody's making money. And everybody's making money. So if somebody was watching this shit, you know, from a bird's eye view, they're gonna look at us just as nuts as we would ever be able to look at them in any kind of light. You know, even if they were, you know, a parasitic species as well, and their job was to conquer shit, they would see us conquering each other. You know? But that's why we, you know, that's why we have these conversations, right? That's why, you know, that's why doing this kind of stuff, you know, kind of helps it maybe get better in the future, right? But you can only hope that shit.